Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Sounds good. All the way to the back. Perfect. Well, we will go ahead and get started this evening. I am Howard Holden, president of Holden Companies. I am from Wabash, Indiana, where our main office is headquartered. But I am not our representative. Important is our Northwest Indiana representative, our management real estate, and our appraisal are here in Northwest Indiana. And County just joined us a couple months ago, and right out here out. So if you have any appraisal needs for sometimes for estate planning, you know what the property's worth. Kathy would be the one to help you with that. She is close to having her Indiana Certified General Appraiser license here in the next couple of months, and our management of real estate sales is also the person for that. So that concludes our introductions, and with that, I will get into my topic of the night. I'm going to talk about farmland values, cash rents, and where the market is moving, why the market's been moving the way it has. And I think that'll feed into where Cliff's going to go. You start to think about who owns farmland. And if you own 1,000 acres of farmland today, you've got taxable estate as an individual, because that's going to be $15,000 per acre. It's $15 million. So as you start to think about it, it doesn't take too much in the way of assets in agriculture to get to the taxable consequence as an individual. So into that a little bit. I started with this slide. This is the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. So we're going to start a little large, then we'll get down more specific to Indiana. But the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago does a study every quarter, and I looked just a couple days ago to see if you don't do shortly. But the change, the percent change is the most important here. And you know, they were saying that ag makers in the Chicago district, Indiana up 22% year over year. So from April of 22 to April of 23, that's a pretty big increase. That wasn't the biggest jump over the last 2 years ago. Right now, we experienced a 20% increase almost overnight. But this shows that the market is still strong as we go through this year. Honestly, in agriculture, those of you that know farmland, doesn't trade a lot during the summer. Once the crop is planted, there's not a lot of sales that occur between May and September, and then you see them fall. Here's the Purdue survey. So the Purdue survey was done literally a month ago. So this data is a year old. So the new survey results will come out here in 2 weeks. So you want to watch that. I could predict. So these are different land classifications. Light blue is the best land in the state. This darker blue is average land, and then this would be below average. So if you think about Porter County or LaPorte County, this below average would be north of Valdo, north, generally speaking. I'm not making that a blanket statement. And the better land is going to be south of 30, well, that's 30, south of Valdo, as you think about the whole land. You can see the big escalation that I just mentioned here in 21, 22, 23. And why is that? Interest rates combined with higher commodity prices generating positive farm incomes, and that really spurred on a lot of investment. So we get into an inflationary environment in the 70s, and your last couple of years, it's been pretty positive. Now, as I said, we would get specific. Part of the Federal Reserve, bigger picture of the Midwest, and we got to the food numbers, which is state of Indiana, and now we're going to talk about our specific sales. And so I take it back to 21. And I'll show this line here in a second. It shows all the way back to 2016. But to spare you all of that, trading, I need to explain this. We analyze all of our sales. 80% profit. If you go out that's no more than somebody brings that up. So we try to really get it down to 80% top-line sales. And we take the sale value, we divide it by the productivity next to the soils. That is something that USDA and their three universities did. They measured all the soil types in Indiana, and they said, you know, a roasted might be at 170 bushels per acre, and something like sand would be the average in soil types. Average for the state would be 140. Farms in Fulton County, County would be better than that, and something would be below that. But they would take the sale price divided by that productivity index. That productivity index that's not really the soil index percent time ago. Hybrid technology, farming advances, advanced yields, those haven't come done. It gives us a great way. There are more sales. And for 5 straight years, we traded basically $50 before the index. So if your farm had a next farm, that's $50. And if we went $5, and all of a sudden, third quarter, we won. We'll know that this is the pretty high on with them for sale. And so we do quarter 3 and quarter 4, all of a sudden you notice farms selling for 12,000, 50,000, or we had them to 10. That's a 40%. That was almost overnight. And if I'm sales in 7 days in August of 21, they all were $10,000. It's still more straight line. The trend line is one of the things you'll notice about farmland. Every farm is unique. It's different. And so you get some that's up here toward 120. I would imagine this sale over here that is above $120 is probably a sand lower productivity rate of irrigation. So it's produces so you get a lot of variability. The trend line is really what we're talking about. We've been trading about 22, about $85. Here's the $23. So we're about 6 months in, not a lot happening here in Q2. But Q1, we had a fair number of sales, and we were trading in that $80, $90 range. And here's the end, some sales. The market is still strong. We're not housing lines. There are concerns about office space, other types of real estate. You sure your farmland values are probably values. Now, this shows really that trend that I talked about earlier. 5 years, 6 years of line, $50. If you do this trend line from here back all the way to 2016, it was flat at about $50. Pretty boring market. Not bad. Wasn't trending down, but it really wasn't moving anywhere. And then we see this big jump to 80, and then a little straight here. So farmland's been a good place to be invested. And obviously, if you go back to 1930, started with the downtowns, you would find that farmland and equities are the best investments. $1 invested is definitely terrible throughout that entire history. So one question we asked, I went to vice president of real estate, and I said, all right, what about quality? Generally, you think quality includes cars, right? Cadillac sells more than Chevy. So what about farmland? Better quality sells more than Ford. And you note that there is a slight advantage, say $78, $77 per bushel productivity index for the poor quality, 111 bushel productivity index. That's well below average. Whereas 173 here on the far right sells for $85 to $7. So yes, quality doesn't matter. Better quality farms. So when you see a farm that's offered for sale out there, you see in the higher end of the spectrum, odds are higher, it's going to bring a better price. But again, the red line is an average, and you can certainly see some that didn't bring super spectacular price. Probably because, while quality is measured by soil type, the important things about it. The other question we had was, does size matter? Generally speaking, and so we went back and looked, and yes, to a slight degree, size does matter in the sense that smaller farms bring a higher price per corn bushel productivity than the bigger ones. And both of those match the hypothesis of what I studied. Now, I mentioned that we can quantify soil types, we can't quantify location. I think this set of sales on the same day back in November really did make this. So back in November 29th last year, we had a sale in Casper. Anybody familiar with Logansport? Everyone's talking about Logansport, right? This was actually up at Royal, not Logansport, it was up at 12 miles. So northeastern Cass County, that's not part of Cass County. You go south of Logansport, it's really good land and bring 15 plus acres. This was northeastern Cass County. 148 productivity index. It brought $7,500 an acre. This was an auction during the day, online auction. Then we offered that same night in an online and live format. We found that productivity index wise was slightly lesser quality than the Cass County one. And this is down to Muncie. So most people know what Muncie is, Ball State University. And this one brings 15,000 an acre. Double one in Cass County. Why? This one was not horrible. So how you farm a farm, how you control weeds, how you put on how you build some cool off of it, that all factors into the teach. Common all of you are by land and say, well, that's just not very well managed. Flooded out farms versus a farm that's really well maintained. This farm was rated as the best farm in the world. So reputation, location factor. It's unique that this happened the same day and we had almost double the price. Now you say, well, Howard, this one was online only, this was live. That's we went back and studied online only auctions versus our hybrid auctions, and they bring them out the same number. That's all of our sales. And honestly, here in 2023, about 80% of our sales. Here are the recent sales. So I just went back to May and just put down the chart of where we are, and you can see a lot of variability in the market. Here's a Wabash County at $90 per productivity index, and here's one of the White County brought 64. But look, this is a below average farm. So again, quality, lesser quality, below average, it brings a lower price. Whereas a better quality, no, that's that's got irrigation potential. That's why that second price. So the market's still holding strong. And there's the one we sold last week. This did not have irrigation on it, and so it went $75. The interesting thing is the expectation going into that was $67. So this was an exceptional set. Seller farm. So who are the buyers? And I've got this question in every seminar I've done this year. How many Chinese buyers do we have? Zero is the answer. Never like 35 years. State of Indiana saying, did you know, has a law prohibiting foreign ownership of farms. So if you are foreign to the United States, or have a U.S. passport, state House legislation passed inside the year. None of that supported. Yeah. So our mix this year, 2023, But 2023, 65% farmer and 35% investor. Most of our investors are not Wall Street. They're not foreign investors. These are investors that are individuals from Valparaiso, individuals from Chicago, Indianapolis, who want to diversify their portfolio. So you can see over the course of the last 2 years, go back most of the time, the dominant portion of farm. Well, except as a farmer, a more regular additional farm. The investor doesn't have. Here's the agrometer, and for years I said that this was a really good precursor of farmer united, indicator of farmer united. So Purdue does a study every month. They call 400 producers around the United States, not around the United States. And they ask questions about how you feel about agriculture. It's very subjective. It is not an objective survey. It asks how they feel. Are you going to use capital investments? And the number they come up with. And this 100 is average. Feel average today is 100. 200 is I feel like farmland is the best place. And so we've been moderate. When you go back in the time of doing this, go back to pre-Trump, and here's the Trump bump, this time period right here, after the Trump election, here's the pandemic. So when COVID hits in May, that's where you get the most for there. And this is the concern around interest rates, inflation, high input costs, all factored into these scores here more recently. Whereas the farmland market is not. So through this time period, it really matched farmland pretty well. Yeah, farm sales there in April, May of 20 were pretty tough because of the pandemic. So you kind of match it up. There really has been a departure the last year or so from this barometer because farmland values continue to escalate, whereas the barometer has been pretty high. I think that's a concern about what the future is. If you adjust for inflation, farmland's at the all-time high. So real, nominal farmland values, all-time high. This is the index value. And all-time high. But if you adjust for inflation, we have escalated past 2013. So if you are a farmland owner, you said, I don't want to sell the all-time high, you're a buyer. So challenges either way, depending on the side. So farmland debt. Debt is a part of the equation. Your concern would be with higher interest rates. What is going to be the impact on that? So I got a couple slides on this. Real farm debt segregated, and this is probably not a surprise to anybody. Highest percentage of farms in the United States are those that produce under $100,000 in revenue. Doesn't take much to produce $100,000 revenue. These are high. Almost vegetable patches, and they have the lowest amount of debt. Not a surprise. Somebody who lives in town, farms on the side. Whereas large scale producers over $1 million of revenue have the majority of debt. I don't find that to be a surprising slide. Commenting on that, I don't think I have a slide on it. Anybody guess what percent of the farms in Iowa stated the study? What percent of farms in Iowa have zero mortgage debt on it? Yes. Just published the results a couple weeks ago for the most recent study. 84% of farms in the state of Iowa have zero mortgage debt. So when you think about debt, okay, it's heavily concentrated with the large farm operators. So that's concerning a little bit operational speed, but in the Georgia, so interest rates move up, it's not going to have as big an impact as what you might see in office space or residential, because those have a much higher percentage. Here's a change in interest rates. I like this because it kind of shows, historically speaking, where we are. And you can see that we are getting back to rates that are much more comparable to where we were in past times. Certainly not 1980s rates. But certainly we've gotten back to where the higher interest rates were in the early 2000s, around 2005, 6, 7. So that's going to have an impact. But interest expense comparison. I think this is always helpful when you think, well, why doesn't debt have as many impacts as it used to? The interest expense comparison is 35 cents of every dollar earned on farm was spent on interest back in 1980, 1983. And where we are today is 12 cents, 1/3. So when you think about that debt issue, it's much less of an impact than what it was back then. Of course, we were dealing with 18% interest rates and a much higher leverage at that time. So where do values go from here? Really depends on these three things. And as you think about this year and where farmland value is going to go, I would say, well, what are farm incomes, what are interest rates, what are supply? Now, this slide hasn't changed for me for a number of years in terms of those two things being on there, but it changes each of their impacts. So farm incomes last year, did you know this is the best year since 1973 inflation adjusted farm incomes? So USDA farm incomes, that's the whole country, best year since 1973. I was going to a meeting with my business partner, Steve Higgin, and one day I heard this on the radio, and I mentioned it to him. He said, "Oh, yeah, I started farming in 73. It was a great year. I told my dad, well, this farming deal was really easy." He said, "Yeah, no, this is an unusual year. This is the best year since then." So then you got to go back to like the 1940s, 50s, post World War II. So it was a really good farm income year, but what the predictions are for 23 is down. Still above, though, this banded line, which is about $127 billion in dollars for what is that? Net cash farm income, and then total net farm income is the blue line, and it's about $105 billion. Go back to the 1990s. We never went. So we've been just first time we were above back in that home era. So predictions a little bit soft, still better than the average here. And I would say that the yield potential that exists out there in the fields, as I observe the fields in Indiana, combined with the current prices and the crop insurance price, that's probably fairly accurate. Real net farm income, this is where I commented about 1973. If you look at this last year, this is prediction for this year, but last year, and you draw a line, here's 1973, and then you go back to the World War II era. So inflation adjusted. I like that. There's farm income driving the market. Certainly we jumped from 73 to 2006. If you had $85 billion or more a year, that no longer counts. Now we're talking about being at 105 or better. Higher cost. So farm incomes, interest rates, certainly not. But here's the cap rate. And this is how interest rates start to factor into this discussion. So the Purdue survey shows the cap rate down around 2.5%. The invested dollars are landing in 2.5% cash yields. You invest in CDs and get 5. So as an investor, which you can pick, you don't compare farmland to equities. It is not similar to equities. It's a fixed income. So bonds, CDs, that kind of thing. Now certainly farmland, so you got to factor that into your decision. But I can tell you, our investors who make that decision and say, well, I want to have a 5% yield versus 0.5%. That just changed interest rates over the last year. So farm leases, I had the results in our survey, I did it in spring. They were higher than this year. Last year was a really good farm income. So we saw leases continuing to move up. I think when the Purdue survey comes out, this will actually jump upwards. Because I think we're going to up faster. Land values still have this past year. So we did increase rents last year. Demand for renting land is continuing to be strong. We have farmers making money this year. So there will be more competition for land to rent. I have people actually come into me and say, well, Howard, worried my tenants are retiring. There are parts of the U.S. I'm concerned about that. I got a farm in Northeast Texas. It's a challenge finding farmers will pay the rent. However, we don't worry about that in the West. And the competition. And is there more or less in terms of demand is up, and in terms of supply is less. Most people will run on a farm. We use a lot of cash flex leases. I'm not going to get into a bunch of details of this. The cash flex lease basically guarantees a landowner a set rate per acre. So let's say that's $250 an acre. Half the spring, half the fall. You're guaranteed that, whether the farm is farmed or not. You're going to get that amount. And then, if the gross revenue is above a certain hurdle, you get a percentage of that as the landowner. So let's say you produce 200 bushel corn and the price is $5. That's $1,000 in gross revenue. And if you have negotiated a $900 base gross revenue with your tenant, that's $100 of theoretical profit. And maybe the landowners get 20%. So they got a guaranteed $250 and they pick up another $25 for all in $275 rent. That's the way this works. And you can see our base gross revenue is from $650 to $1050 an acre. Costs are up. So the first time we're $1,000 in the base gross revenue. Average was $750 or $750 another way to do it. Soybeans less than that, they're less costly to produce. And in the 55 to 868, I would say 900 on corn, 900 on corn was the average. Soybeans was around 500. And even over that, the share with the landowner, and you're still getting the majority of every dollar. Base cash rents did move up as expected with higher. Here's the producer rate on cash rents. You can see they did move up, but certainly not like the appreciation that we saw in farming. That's why we cap rate. So our forecast as we go forward, you think back to farm incomes, interest rates, and supply. Incomes good and possibly still good this year, far from the main crop yet. So we're still, but as well today, I mean, farming will still be profitable, not as good as last year. Interest rates are certainly higher, so that's a bearish factor today. Supply of farms for sale, that's the third. Last fall, fourth quarter, we had a fair number of sales. But as we've come into this year, the number of sales have really brought back to below normal. So we've not had a little supply situation. So as we think about going forward, where we are, we've got these long-term world demand fundamentals. And I'm reading the Brock report this morning and talking about Brazil actually is going to export more corn. It's going to be a higher percentage of export corn. But already there. So we're losing some of our positioning in the export market. That's a concern. However, you've got long-term world demand fundamentals for food. And oh, by the way, we've got this renewable diesel. It's coming on. Renewable fuel for the airline industry. Those are plants that are now being built for places out west, that I think will have a positive impact. This on the soybean market, and that also will influence the corn market. We've also got just-in-time delivery impacts. I just pointed out one cents yesterday and another 15 today. Part of it was that's a just-in-time impact. That thing is day to day. When you see the corn market above $1 and down $1 in the month of June, why would it be that significant when the crop is far from known And it's just a matter of chatter about whether it's going to rain. It's a dollar. It's because we are so hands out in terms of the profit we produce. Interest rates, certainly a challenge at 6.8%. It was 2.77% 2 years ago. 15-year fixed rate money. 2.77% 2 years ago, 6.8 today. Significant increase. That's a barrier factor. Supply, as I said, is below normal or near normal. I think that's foolish. Government support likely very low. Much this year. Watch the farm bill as it goes forward. Most people are talking about it being reviewed the way it is. We'll see if they really would like to pass it the next couple of months. We'll see if it's done this year or not. And then inflation. So inflation has been a real negative for our input costs. Now, fertilizer's coming down quite a bit in the last few months. Seed, fuel, and setting up. But inflation has a bigger influence on offset some of the costs. It doesn't help us on that year-to-year review. So cropland values we see steady to slightly up this year. Markets, other markets, timber steady, recreational, these are all steady. It's been funny the last couple of months. Housing starts up in contrast to what they were predicting. So we see some stability in these other classes, and certainly that's the markets counties that we're in. The ones I'm concerned about, though, are these average to low average farms. If you think about it, 80 acres and 5 fields, creek-owned, on-shade fields, those aren't that appealing to these large farms. You have a fewer number of tenants that will rent that, maybe not maybe the highest end. So if you think of something that I would be concerned about, or if you're looking for an opportunity to, those might be opportunities that then make them more efficient. And our expectations, Kelsey participated in the survey, this was back in March, predictions through September. But farmland generally will be steady to highly, just a little bit, but a little weakness in the rural residential. We'll see if that works out. Yes.
Yeah, so we're from Stark County and there's a large amount of farms going to be sold.
Yes.
How's that going to affect the farms that still produce crops?
Great question. I was maybe we should be still around. And the data is listed somewhere on farm value. Some of these solar leases that were done at $600 per acre when the panels run, so that actually is we're not going to see that like that. Yes, it's higher than the profit. We're not seeing that data. Now, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 acre rent, that still probably does, but there honestly haven't been much in the way of sales of fields with solar panels. There was a study I seen that an appraisal shop out of Chicago did, and they looked at land adjacent or close to some solar fields. I think Middlebury, Valpo, Indianapolis, Frankton, solar fields around the northern part of the state. And when they analyzed 15, 16 paired sales, which is an appraisal term, they basically said it was a positive 3%. So not a negative impact. Now, your question probably is more, if we have thousands of acres go under solar panels, that's going to take thousands of acres out of our crop production. That should have a positive impact. Supply and low. We'll see if that happens. There's a lot of counties that are very opposed to solar. I look at the initiatives on Dixco is taking where they have one fossil fuel power plant running. They've closed all the others. How are they going to supply the electricity that this part of the state uses? For new renewables, wind, solar, or something else. that hydrogen, is that methane. The company we're working with has contacted us. They are putting in methane isotopes to generate power. So I think it'll be interesting to watch that whole power complex because we're not going to demand less electricity, especially with electric cars. So we've got to come up with more electricity over time, and yet we're closing a lot of our fossil fuel power. So something to watch. But a lot of these solar deals that have done, panels are a lot. They're actually in an area where they are. A lot of places they were getting. Yes.
I guess I see the solar panels as a way of increasing the cash balance. Because all of a sudden there's less ground available to farm.
So if you have a higher property prices, that hits to have more money. You got some people who participate in the solar. Maybe they haven't gone more than. Yes, I think it probably is. Any other questions? What is-
I just see Howard and Hand did a really good job. So thank you, Howard. Hey, you want to do your questions on here we are. Right around the courthouse, and then you find the courthouse down. There's our office in Lafayette. So it's great. Jeff, Cliff, Donna, Emily, Gabriel, Barb, Tom, just on, we have 16 full-time employees. So if you come and find the right price, it's not just put price, it's a whole bunch of people that work there. Some of our staff are 40 times. That's pretty amazing. They're very skilled and very knowledgeable. We're going in our students because these two young ladies are my daughters. They're in law school, very similar to ordinary life on and I appreciate this to be a family relationship with 5 research family office. This is Heather. Trying to see her speaking. Let's talk about farms within fewer and larger. 2.1 million farms, 97% of their. A lot of people don't understand that. Well, today, in the year 2023, only slightly more than 1% of the. So that's you, you're in that 1%. People that have the honor, the privilege, really have some days in life where you actually create wealth from the land just for God and person. And not very many people have that. Another Johnson Swift who died in 1745, wrote Oliver's Travels. Wilbur Johnson Swift survived on farmers. He gave it for his opinion that whosoever had made 2 acres of corn or 2 blades of grass to grow on a spot on the ground where only 1 year before would deserve better of mankind and do more essential service to his country than the whole race of politicians put together. Yes. I mean, I believe that. I believe that. I love doing that. In 2021, the average size of principal farm operated average age of 57.5. 70% of all farmers will change hands in the next 4 years. This is one of the reasons why it's really important that there's succession planning for your family farm. And tax avoidance, certainly probate avoidance, average price per acre in Indiana went up 7.6%. 60% of all farmers do not have enough. That's you. And 81% of farmers have no farm transition plan. This is what we do at RSCMS all the time. Most of your neighbors need our services. So if you become a client at RSCMS, you're our best job. Talk over breakfast. But my family will work out. I won't work out. Somehow magic. 70% of first generation operations do not successfully transition to the next. That's the vast majority. 90% don't make it to the third generation, and 96% don't. So if you live in the 3 or 4 or 5th generation family farm, you're in the vast minority because most don't make it. And part of the reason for that is not good estate planning or not good pension planning, no good succession planning. So coming here, we dare to contemplate some of the hardest topics in life: death, taxes, incapacity, and why your old existing estate plan might not work as well as you should. So bear with me. I know it sounds weird to talk about death, dying, taxes, and all that good stuff. But if you take care of it, it can be one of the best things you can ever do. So, last desires, pass on a hard-earned wealth with no further involvement. That means to avoid unnecessary tax. Would want to grow from nursing homes or Medicaid expenses someday to make it over or protect the farm from predators and predators, maybe divorces and so on, and also to be fair to all. Not easy to accomplish all these things, but we don't want to overlook any of them. Because any one of them could just devastate the farm and finally keep the farm. So what do we do? Our goals: control my property while I'm alive and well, provide for myself and my loved ones if I become disabled, give what I have to whom I want, the way I want, when I want, and minimize the impact of before costs and taxes. This is what we do for all of our farm plants. How large is your estate? Well, some people think, oh, I don't really have all that. We hear that a lot from farmers, but then you look at what's the value of the farm, the home, the rental property, the other land, the vacation property, the condo, the timeshare. Then you add to that your retirement plan, that you have a small 401k, IRA, 401k, and your spouse was an earning your future. Then you add your investment accounts and the bank accounts and the ownership of a small business and cars and boats and RVs and furnishings and collection personal effects and what else? Potential inheritance that you may get before mom and dad passed away, and life insurance and livestock and machinery and leases, wind or solar, etc., and standing crops. And so a lot of farmers say, well, I've only got 180 acres. And we add all this up, crops and storage is twice what they thought it was. That's not uncommon. Thinking of standing crops and storage for a farmer leads for your stock and trade. Okay. In Indiana, 2022 estimated bean yield is here, estimated bean prices there, average yield for revenue is about $895.40 an acre. And with Howard in the audience at the time, maybe these stats are current. Maybe they're not even accurate. And here's the corn. That was beans. 190 bushels an acre. Well, current corn market price, $5.27 per bushel. Average yield for corn per acre, a little over 1,000. Now, what did they just say about beans? Okay. Well, wait a minute. 895 is average bean yield. 1,000 is corn yield. So, yeah, that's just an interesting more. Okay, here's why most estate plans fail. Because they rely on a will, and just a will. The state plan, our state plans of the rest of the United States have at least 13 components of all of them. And a will is only one of those components. You don't rely on a will. Just wills and nothing. So if you're on a farm family and all you do is a will, you take it straight to your probate court when you die. That's not a good place to your kids stand up. poorly drafted documents, no protection, these real allegations of capacity or nursing home stay or divorces of your children. Lack of proper maintenance, in other words, your assets are not transferred into the trust. You see that sometimes, a family will have a living trust, and they die, their kids end up in probate. What? You aren't licensed by clients, the assets were in the trust, you're dying and you get a trust that's only half full. And the assets that are not in the trust can trigger a probate, we don't want probate for the kids. I'm sure we all agree upon that. So why else can farmers, estate funds fail? You don't keep up with the law changes or the new strategies, maybe you have a special needs son or daughter or grandchild. I have a special needs trust to protect that child, so they don't lose their governmental benefits, they still get their Medicaid, they still get their social security, disability income. Or maybe there's a remarriage of your spouse after you die. So picture that, ladies do that first. And you leave your husband all alone after 40 years. And he's the most eligible bachelor in 19 counties because he's a multi-millionaire with all the farm, and then he gets remarried. And you might think, oh, I was in my husband getting married if I got 50% of the men who search out after age 65. None of them will divorce somebody who having. Okay. Okay. We will have to marry and divorce, but if you die and your husband gets remarried after you die, the chances of divorce for a man who gets married after age 65 is not 50%, it's 60%. So if the woman dies first, the man will almost, very likely get remarried and very likely end up in a divorce. And he lose $3 million to some regulators you had married. You realize we don't want this. It's what rights nice to go and remarry. Ever heard something called 80% of all the people in the United States, they don't do it enough. But we put language in the living trust of surviving spouse before they get remarried. Do that first. They must do a valid written prenuptial agreement, signed by them, signed by the United States. That's all the right language. You put the language in your living trust. So guess what? Now if there's a divorce, you don't lose a couple million. They use with your spouse and that's up with your children when you both are dying. Absolutely. That's more important than avoiding probate. Because if you avoid probate, maybe you only save $50,000, $60,000, $80,000. This is saving. Sometimes your whole family farm now. Now this is the whole farm. Wait a minute, if there's a divorce, parents only going to get the one time, I really took a little town called one time 10 miles east of here. I was at a funeral in person, probably 30, 35 years ago, and the wife had died first. And this couple owned a 1,600-acre farm. Okay. He didn't expect his wife to die first. Well, he goes on his new suit for his wife's funeral. I'm standing behind him. Let's say his name is Martin. I'm standing there in front of his wife's coffin, just like this. And I couldn't help noticing this guy looked like a buck. He's got a brand new suit on. He's got this wavy gray hair. Harvey looking good. He's only about 66 or 67. And I'm watching women hitting on him. And his wife's funeral. They're up at the hand on the back. You can see they're stroking his arm. Looking up at him. Oh, Harvey, you poor. And then next looking up there, I'm really watching this happen. So a half an hour goes by and I go to the mention, you're tired. You're standing in front of the next how many? He's happy. He's never had so much attention. So about 2 weeks, maybe a month later, one of these ladies comes out to the farm. And it's out of the farmhouse. And guess what after that? Harvey died less than a year later. And not more than a year after that, Harvey died. He got 16 They really were going to step up. And now when his sons were hanging on end, their stepmother was hanging on end within the family. I never followed through to see what that 1,600-acre farm, its age value is $20 million. You see what I'm saying? You can lose everything you own if you don't address this, it's gonna redirect protection. And you don't get that. Most of the time. Right? You're doing that, you're get remarried protection. Just the words in the line. Okay, so anyway. Ask food documents, so like Wilson Trust, they don't get adequate plans, wills or other documents downloaded from the internet. And try to do everything with people on death, transfer death, there was no asset protection, barbershop advice, it's not just that's your kid's name. I've literally seen it happen. This is this one. Mom and dad want to avoid trouble. Oh, that's a good goal. But to do that, there's some local attorney who doesn't know much about something, and they say, I want you to do a deed because we're both 80 years old, and I have something. So they try to figure out. They signed the deed and they reported. Someone owns the land, and they have a year to live. Not no probate, but guess what they did? You know what they did? They put the farm in their son's deed. So when you give something like that to one of the kids, they get their tax basis. Well, mom and dad had that farm in India. So I do nothing. I don't $160 a acre. Now their son is stuck with their tax basis. Well, I understand how the farm is worth, $12,000. But when the boy sells that farm, then he will. He's got mom and dad's, $160 tax basis. And he sells it for, $8 million. And he's got to pay capital gains tax on all that profit, all that, what is, I don't know, 20% of $8 million. Within something dollars, the son is going to check for $1.4 million. But if they had done one of the trust, it would have been place. And now when they die, they still lose. It goes to the Arrows gives it's that tax basis. To the full fair market value in the name on the dead land, which might be 12,000 an acre. Now in the sun, something doesn't. You getting that? So doing it copy. There's a right or wrong way to do everything. Talking to somebody who knows what they're doing, who's done it for many years, that won't let that happen. Is say $1 million in capital gains. What else do you see? Everyone's living trust, no tax claim, no asset protection, no protection for nursing homes, nursing homes at $10,000 a month. So this is the judge making that is a representative. But most people don't want to end up in court with probation. There's a hassle and paperwork, expenses, and it's expensive. The average farm probably in probation for about a year, attorney's fees, bond fees, publication fees, executors fees, county fees, price fees, markup, and much other stuff. Most of that can be avoided if you have a living trust. It's fast, it's easier, it's totally private. And so if you own land outside of Indiana, like in Indiana, another probate, wherever else you want to go. Different law firm, different judge, two separate probates, with more going on at the same time. So if you know somebody who knows you to stay outside of Indiana, all the reason to do this kind of money is they have all. And so this not only is the English very different. The money is biggest concern for the law. After they're going, someone for the National Planning Magazine. Well, is each child ready for $500,000 or $1.5 million? Manage that money. What's on the mind of a great attorney? Divorce, lawsuits, creditors, claims, everything after the daughter-in-law or son-in-law. Your child died. We can deal with all those issues and protect the kids against custody. Living trust, once you have one, nothing really you need to do. Your trustee, in terms of everything in control absolutely everything. You can change it if you want to, but you can still buy and sell land, you can still refinance the assets, or no need income tax forms to file, no change in the property tax bill. Everything is absolutely the same. You can show mortgage exemption, nothing changes when you have a lot of that. And you still get the homestead exemption. But if you're in the trust, and it's avoided, that's probate when you die. No court fees, no publication fees, no non-fees, no executive fees, no probate fees. properly drafted estate plan, well, the total cost, probably less than 1% of your estate. And remember, probate fees alone could easily have exceeded 5%. So just avoiding probate fees for your estate plan every single time, usually many times over. Now, we have a list that we sometimes have our clients go out, and I won't have you fill this out, but I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay. Do you have a living limit? That's the one that says you don't want to be forever hooked up to the machine that goes on hard recovery. You have a hip aware. That's new in the law, and you have to have this, so otherwise it's a felony for the doctors, your own son, your own daughter, your own spouse. Hip waiver, list of people you love, and it's all good for the doctor. Advanced directive, who's gonna make medical decisions for you if you get a sick someday? That used to be called the healthcare power of attorney, but they changed the law. Effective January 1st of this year, the whole healthcare power of attorney is no good because the law calls it a advanced medical directive. So there's a good reason to see your attorney to get updated on your plan, just like that, because it changed the law. That document will say your life today. That's number 3. Now, there's funeral planning declaration. Under the new law in Indiana, you go in the last, you buy and sign with the our funeral plans are 20 or 90 pages long with all 23 things that you're going to need to know about what you got. Most estate plans we've seen on some places do not. So you can save money and avoid a lot of confusion when you got. Number 5, your living trust has a memorandum section. Memorandum section allows you to fill in the blanks, you sign it and say, when I die, here's who gets my wedding ring, my car, my 20 bucks, my guns, my truck, my tools, whatever it is you're going to leave behind. Great place to leave this to your grandchildren. Simply fill them out, you date and sign it, it becomes part of your living trust. A lot of folks in this room, even if you have a living trust, it doesn't have a memorandum for distribution of personal property. Here it is. So we give those to all of our clients. Emergency medical information card. You're available to your firms that can save your life in the emergency room and you're on the is how to contact you. You have a living trust with part of your state plan, so you can avoid probate. What else we got? I've taken steps to protect my children. They have my spouse to be married. We talked about that. I'm sure my current state plan keep me out of a nursing home. We put that in there. Tools to do Medicaid planning, so you don't have to lose your farm or anything you work for your whole life. It's for long-term catastrophic illness and et cetera, et cetera. And look at all these. Let's talk just about farming. Not all that rest of that stuff we've been talking about. That goes in every estate plan that we do. But now we're talking about things that are more specifically geared to farming. So what's number 14A? Continuing to allow control and enjoyment of the farming children for the rest of their working life. If you've got a son or somebody you want to have, okay, set up a protected trust to keep the farm in the family throughout the generations. That means when, let's say, you leave it to your son, and your son dies, you can go probate for each of the next generation. No probate when you die, no probate when your son or daughter dies. Well, that's pretty cool. What else? Number C, avoid probate on the family farm early when you die, but when all the children later die. Deal fairly with non-farm children, give them a fair or equal share. And prevent partition suits by children demanding their share of the farm and cash flow. Not wanting your kids to force the other kids to sell the farm. There's a way you can keep the farm in the family, allow management and control, but prevent some of the children from forcing the sale of the farm from their siblings. Protect the farm family against children's possible future divorce. Now, how would you feel if you died and left your farm to, let's say, your son? He ends up a divorce 2 years later, and the daughter-in-law takes $3 million away from your son. This does not have to happen if you plan to do. Keep the farm in the family bloodline, so it ends up with the grandkids when your kids pass away. Number 10, provide a fair market value to fix rental income to the non-farm children during their lifetime. Get a stepped-up tax basis, of course, avoid the 20% guarantee tax. Provide first right of purchase, so the farm can always remain in the family bloodline, and avoid generational death taxes when your children die. So we can not only save taxes on your farm when you die, but in many cases prevent taxes on that same farm when your children die. So here are some of the things you need: a living will, if you're living machines, I think it's not a felony for the doctors to talk to one's family. This is the healthcare power of attorney. It's called advanced medical direction. You can save your life. There's your funeral planning declaration. Saves money, avoids a lot of confusion. There's your memorandum for distribution of personal property. You can give yours to your grandchildren and keep a piece about their business. There's no reason not to get you an emergency life card that you carry in your wallet. So what's the restoration difference? Well, most law firms would not give you the emergency medical information card. Looks like this. Look at that, the Deere family, listen, oh, John Deere, right, his wife married. Great. But the family for 5 generations, their son is peace, graduated for UN, and joined his father, been farming since he was 14 years old. And okay, so what about the farm? They have 300 acre farm, that's a $3 million stake, that's very conservative, at $10,000 an acre, that's just the land, okay? Well, this is John and Mary, and it's 300 acre farm. Well, the probate fees on $1 million estate, you might go with the first one schedule right here in Porter County. Says the first $100,000. You should normally receive 9%. Well, that's $9,000. That's only in the first 100,000. The next 200,000 is not to exceed 12,000 more. And the next 700,000 for the penny for its own schedule signed by the judge. And that's likely to be another $31,500. So for the first $1 million, you get all that up, and what do you get? Well, probably change the $50,500. That's the court's own schedule in Porter County. But this is only $1 million. So would this be a reason to avoid probate? Yeah, that's probably changed our $1 million, $52,500, but that doesn't include because the $52,500 is attorney's fees, personal security fees. So then you must add other probate in addition to the $52,500. Publication fees, filing fees, bond fees, appraisal fees, court costs, all extra. So assets in the trust would save most of that money. We stopped right here, that John, we're doing something about it. Kids. Retired state plan is often less than 1/5 of probably all assets that are found within your trust will be divided over. Retirement your assets is called funding the trust. Remember, I said earlier, a lot of people die and it's the trust nothing. A lot of things are not in it, so there's probably like you don't want it. You die in the trust that doesn't contain all the necessary assets. This is the photograph of our funding workshop at our office. We teach in a whole room full of people how to put the assets in the magic box. We're the only law firm in the world that does this. As a class, it's free, all of our clients, to show them how to put the assets in the trust. Each month, we do the forms to do it. We know all the deeds, all the farmland is in the trust. So that funding workshop has been taught by Bryce and Rice to all of our clients. Every 6 weeks. For free for the last 30 years. Why didn't we do it? Don't you smile or not getting paid for it? Because we want our plans to work. And the fact that it works is proven by the fact that virtually our clients are. We lose 300 or 400 clients a year. A lot of the state line and they pass away for it through all the year. It's almost unheard of that any of them ever ended in the program. There might be at the end of the year 2 or 3 probates or that many people, that's 99% success rate. I don't think you'll find that any place else. That's because we're funding for years, okay? This is the example of the Deere farm, piece of paper, puts it in the trust. You also should have an assignment of your farm equipment in the school. Farm equipment can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And assignment of standing crops, and assignment of the livestock that you have. And assign to your little trust and store trade, maybe a lease, you have to assign that lease or a solar lease or a wind farm lease or a property lease, your neighboring farm. That's an asset that needs to be assigned in your trust. Most of them assign this is not something you have a subject risk corporation or limited liability company always sees for one piece of paper. It's not hard to do, but most other law firms don't. Your protection. You know. That within 25 months after the death of the first spouse, 19% of women are in a new romance or remarried with tenants. Within 25 months. Okay. That's how it is. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's handsome. He's okay. 50% of all the marriages end in divorce. You know that. But for marriages over 55. So we deal with this issue, but most of them do not. So the chance answers are 12 to 36% of remarriage can result in a loss of half or even retire. That's something you want to deal with. Okay? So what is the solution of prenuptial agreement? Did you know that 80% of all people who get remarried failed in their prenuptial agreement? The life's nice, I'm living trust with the partners, spouse, not to do prenuptial before they get married. They're doing that for 27 years, it works. You'd be amazed how frequently it is. One of our clients functions way, and within a year or two, or sometimes even a month or two, or sometimes here comes the surviving spouse, or kind of embarrassed, and they're coming in to do a prenuptial agreement because they can have to. Oh, nothing wrong with remarriage, but there is certainly something wrong with losing the farm. 50% says it needs long-term care. So if you're over 65, there's a 50% chance sooner or later you're going to need long-term care, or even it's a 75% chance because both of you, that's the one or the other, if not both. So we have to address that. Average cost of nursing homes is over $100,000 a year. Nursing home stays for a person with Alzheimer's average is about 5 years. So nursing homes went up 20% last year, single year. That's way faster. If they keep doing that, it's going to double in 5 years. And the cost of nursing home is going to be a couple $100,000. So if your spouse ends up in a nursing home 6 years from now, stays there for 5 years with Alzheimer's, you're going to burn out on it. And if they're doing for 10 years, you build up, burn up too. For a lot of people, they don't have farming just because somebody got it along. So most state funds don't address this issue, but at Rice and Rice we do because we're only attorneys to understand the Medicaid regulations. So how do we deal with it? We'll start off with the in-home healthcare instruction, trying to help keep people out of the nursing home. Like most of my clients, they're starting home, so you know, I have their own room, your surroundings. So we designed language to put in your living trust back in 1995, 28 years ago, called the in-home healthcare instructions. It's spelled out in English. You can say survey, you're asking your spouse, your son or daughter to contact visiting nurses association, home hospice healthcare, part-time private nursing care, in-home healthcare aids, Meals on Wheels, Colonia, Visiting Angels, Homestead, Comfort Keeper, Helping Hands. All these organizations that exist to help you stay right there in your own home farm and avoid nursing homes. If you can save tens of thousands of dollars every month, they're not in a nursing home. The kids won't be arguing about what you spelled it out in your living trust, right? Here's how to handle it, like it's today. And maybe someday you died and your spouse is all alone. You've got to let the kids know how you want them to be treated and handled if they get stroke someday or if they get Alzheimer's or something. Okay. So cost of nursing homes went up 20% last year. Cost of nursing homes in the state of Alaska is $31,512 a month. Wow. That's going to be in Indiana in about 6 or 8 years. Okay, so tools to do Medicaid planning. We've got a document called the Medicaid Agency Agreement. When you sign that, you're giving your spouse or your son or whoever you want to be in charge someday the power to do gifting, self-dealing Medicaid plan. It's a 29-page document that's spelled in all 50 states. This is not part of your, you don't have this, I can almost guarantee you. But it Rice and Rice, we do it with all of our clients. God forbid if you do end up in the nursing home, you have the tools to do the tools to get Medicaid eligibility without you moving. This is what it looks like. There's something called the Safe Harbor Trust for married couples. Let's say a husband dies. He dumps everything on the widow. Now everything they own is bringing along, and she goes to the nursing home for all year. You may have just lost the farm. But with the Safe Harbor Trust, when the first spouse dies, that portion of the farm goes into a protected trust called the Safe Harbor Trust, and the nursing home can never touch that after the estate. So if you have a $3 million farm and you pass away first, your half of the farm is forever protected from nursing home spend on it. Totally protected and save $1.5 million for your kids. We wrote a book on Medicaid planning. We republish it every year. This is the new 2023 edition. This is not a handbook, it's a 300-page book. Okay. And it's how to protect your family's assets from devastating nursing home costs. Somebody in this room is going to get a copy of this right after, we'll be going after them. The papers you can find in, and you could be the one that wins this tonight, and the same way who wins this, so then also going to win this item here, which we used to refer to as the gift basket, but this is not, there's a bamboo cutting board on the bottom, there's cheese, there's olives, there's crackers, there's good stuff in here. First thing you get that is a gift from our drawing after this, so we can win that. Now, here's the benefits of the Protected Farm Trust. Protected Farm Trust, after you die, will allow management and control and stay the farm stays in the family, avoids four probate system if you have two kids. It provides terms for non-farm children, so they get into the country. It avoids partition suits that your son can be forced to sell a farm, and it avoids loss due to a divorce. In other words, your son over gets a divorce, and then stays with your kids. Can't be taken away by no one or son. Actually gets somebody's attention. Right? Stays in the bloodline, goes to the grave, it's very whole children. So the non-farm children can use fair market home value, that's based on the Purdue University Department of Agriculture, fair market home value from time to time. So if you die and you want to live in the farm to your son or your kids or whatever, they can have the farm, but the trust owns it, and the farm child is managing that and growing whatever they want to do. They have to pay fair market value plans for their other siblings during their period of time of occupancy. So they still, at the end when the farm is finally sold, they buy a vehicle. Is in any way, once the capital gains, it's a tax basis, and it can be a first time purchase. So if the farm child wants to have the other kids during the they get the first time, and they can save taxes even when your kids pass away. So it saves taxes when you die, it saves taxes when you're generation later. Protection trust, you want to make sure the mothers of the children will stay with her kids. And you just spray trust and the amount of money that we're figuring, and we can do a standard trust, we can use trust or dependency trust. We don't have time to do all those, but when you come to talk to us, we issue 5. So we say, oh, this couple has this day, we have a grandchild that you're being medicated or still period is developing. It's be a perfect time for a special needs trust for that child, so they don't lose their government. Talking about anyone, guess what? We can also do a grandchildren's trust, an education trust, an IRA trust, a pet trust, if you don't have to look at military or community trust. Again, we don't have time to mention all that because this is all we do for over 50 years. We know how to do lots of things like this. They're just right for you. So what happens if your child is when they suffer a divorce? There's got a family problem, so they get into a lawsuit. Or what happens if your adult child becomes a control trust policy? Adult child becomes a control trust, you don't get all this relevant. And there's so many other reasons that they can have access to income and principal. Ultimately, know that money is protected. Protection trust and protect the inheritance from their children's divorces. Protected from lawsuits, personal injury claims. Protected against spiritual tendencies for a child or a grandchild. And when your child dies, all those probate treat your grandchild. You leave the farm to your son, just by an example, and your son dies 8 years later. Well, no, when my son dies, I think we should go to whomever, or my grandson, or whoever's on the way. Well, yeah, so this way, when your child dies, it'll go probate free from your grandchild. There's a divorce, that if I'm staying with your son, and you take it away, as a daughter-in-law, and when your son dies, it goes probate free for the next generation. So that means you die, they get a farm your son, he dies 8 years later, the farm goes to grandchildren, is the daughter-in-law. For some people, that sounds pretty good. Is this you? I love this picture. First yourself in the business, you give your life. Well, this kind of planning in your farm estate land, I love this. PowerPoint's not very good at animation. You had to work for much 3 weeks to get this guy to wiggle and swallow it like it wasn't easy back then, okay? But it can pay for itself hundreds of times over. Remember, we can help your spouse or children avoid from the senior coming up on the fifties. That's in addition to all the other things we've been talking about tonight. The living wills, we're free funding workshop, emergency medical coverage, or in-home health treatment. Your remarriage protection, the memorandum for distribution of personal property, funeral planning evacuations, most of which we don't have. And then you go some other places, you will not get most of those things, and that's this. Okay. Back to the, I'll tell you about that. Because the sunset law, 2026 now, the federal state tax, the exemption is going up. Right now, it's $13 million. $1,000. So you don't have a federal state tax problem, most likely. You'd have to have a huge farm to have a federal state tax problem, because the exemption amount is $13 million. But guess what? The Democrats wanted to tax the rich, and they figure all of it. You're rich, and when the tax gets started, Joe Biden is on record as saying he thought everything over $2 million should be. At one time, he's rumored to consider $1 million. He's like, no, don't say that. Well, the Republicans think they're shouldn't do that. We've worked it all right. The income tax and state taxes. Debt-free, tax-free, if your kids will be done. Well, they couldn't agree how high to look at the exemption go. So they entered into a compromise. What was the compromise? The Democrats nervous about the whole notion of it going up to $13 million. They got their ace in the hole. They said, okay, well, we'll go to $13 million. For January 1st of 2026, we want to go all the way back down to 5 million. So I give you 13 million today. How far away is January 2026? 2.5 years, pretty quick, right? 2.5 years, dang, goes all the way down to 5 million. Now that's the next inflation. Most good is taking money. About 6 million. More than 30. That's going to happen. Don't have to do anything. It's going to happen. Sunsets, there it is. Well, okay, there's the new sunset law. Federal and state taxes about $6 million per person. Just inflation, that's coming down like a freight train. I guess that's about 2.5 years away. And that means everything over 6. And by the way, everything over 6 million is going to be taxed not at 40% like it is now, 45%. That's going up. So if you have a large family farm, by the way, you know, Howard just told you how farmland values are going up. You can have a farm right now that maybe only worth $4 million, but 3 or 4 years later, it's worth $6 million, and the IRS is trusting your kids to get a big fat check someday when you're done. There's plenty you can do to make that tax go away. Almost every case would make it go away. So that's the difference for them. This is like that last time the people but the other against that's a real good reason to produce a good plan. We've been doing this since 1972, which is now 59 years. It's all we do. The state telling you know the law. Our offices in Lafayette, Rockwood, Ranger, the university state, and the rest of the rights we belong to these organizations. Most law firms don't. Freedom practice out of Florida, American Academy of State Planning of California, Elder Council of Law of Denver, Colorado, the National Network of the State Planning the Elder Law. Most lawyers don't belong to any of these organizations. We belong to all of them. Reason. Because almost every month, I'm traveling to Denver or to Texas or Florida or to Chicago or someplace. Having a state planning of one of these 5 organizations is a good idea. They come from all around the country, so that's and you bring them right back to the doctors tonight. We do a better job for our clients. So it's American Academy, Elder Council, Wealth Council, National Academy of Law. Of course, we have the better business training. This is the worst admitted. We had the with Martindale Hall. And that is what other attorneys say about your ethical standards and your professional ability. That's the highest rating you can get. What other attorneys say about you, and you're only 1 attorney out of 10 ever achieves that on in the whole career. So doing this. And let's talk about if either materials and invite your kids to do this. Or if you don't, and then slide out the seminar evaluation. It's one page long. I'm gonna ask you to put into what, 719? 719, location is Kelsey's. Fill this out, and once you fill this out, get it into this young lady where it is crystal. And when you hand this in, this is the way to schedule your free consultation. We offer a consultation to anybody who comes to us. Up to 2 hours, there is no charge. We'll tell you exactly how we can do these plans. We'll answer all your questions, map it out, right, so you can understand it. And we'll show you how much money we can save you from that. And if it makes sense, we can do it. If not, well, it's a free consultation. So if you fill this out, it's crystal. Well, that's going to get you in the drawing, but also there are a series of green index cards, crystal heads, on the table just outside, and you get your pick. Some of those might get you to see us at 9 o'clock next Monday morning. Another one might say, come on inside or Saturday. We have an appointment available on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Or we have a couple of appointments on Friday. This is Wednesday, the after tomorrow. You can try on Friday. So it's first come, first served. You pick the green card that you like. You just schedule your free consultation. First, we'll give you an appointment confirmation card, and she'll give you one of these, which is a DVD for you to take home to. This DVD plays in your television machine, not your laptop, your TV, DVD player. It's only 13 minutes long. So if you can afford 13 minutes to watch this DVD, it'll walk you through the information sheet to fill out before you even see it. Real important that it is the information you need to do it. And Crystal will also give you a $200 discount for that. It's as good as cash. Pay $200 on any sleep that you might do with us. All you need to do to qualify for the $200 discount is fill out the information sheet. That shows us you took 13 minutes to watch the little DVD. You keep your appointment out of time and bring in the family photo. Any kind of family photo. Your 50th wedding anniversary, you know, or show your hand, whatever. That just saves you $200. We're glad to do that. Save us time, save you money. And I was wrong on that for the fantastic. I'm just going to win that book. That's what I wanted to share with you tonight. So as soon as all of the seminar evaluation we're going to do this. Just Kelsey's Steakhouse. I don't want your steakhouse. Okay. We're going to be monitoring your entertainment while we're done. We'll see some of you. Okay. All right.